Hello, my name is Georgina and I'm a Senior Student Recruitment Officer here at Keele University. And I'm pleased to be joined by Professor Helen Parr and Dr. John Parker from the School of Social, Political and Global Studies. Within this session, we're going to be giving you an overview of our international relations and politics programmes and the opportunities that are available to our students. But before we get into the session, I'll hand over to the panel to introduce themselves. So over to you, Helen.
Hi, my name's Helen Parr. I'm a professor. I teach in the International Relations programme. My own work has been on Britain and European integration, and more recently on Britain and the use of military force and the experience of recent war.
Thanks, Helen.
Hi, I'm John Parker. I'm a senior lecturer in politics. I'm the program director at the moment, and I specialise in American politics.
Brilliant. Thank you both very much. So, Helen, if we could come to you first, focusing on the International Relations programme, are you able to just give us a bit of an overview of the programme, perhaps some of the modules that students can expect to study on the International Relations programme?
Yeah, so international relations is the study of world politics, broadly defined. And so anyone taking the degree would expect to study the constantly evolving field of world politics, how it's developed, how it's changed, and what the current challenges are, and what states and international organisations try and do about those challenges. So the kinds of things that you would be studying in the first year, Introduction to International Relations, which looks at how to study this huge field. The Changing World, which looks at the main ways in which international politics has changed since 1945, and what the challenges have been. Yeah. Securing the Global Order, which looks at sort of non-state challenges to the international order, like disease, very topical, or terrorism, migration, environmental threats, things like that, and political economy, which looks at the economics that underpin world politics. And then as you move through the degree, you have the opportunity to specialise more, and you can study international organisations, how they work, or you can specialise in particular regions or on certain themes in international relations.
Brilliant, thank you, Helen. And John, coming over to you, obviously on paper there's a lot of commonalities between sort of international relations and politics. Could you perhaps explain how the programmes differ? So perhaps a bit of an overview of politics and how that's different from sort of the international relations programme that we offer.
Yeah, I mean, essentially the two disciplines are looking at power. International relations is obviously looking at power between different states and the way in which the global relationships work. With politics, we will go all the way down to the sort of ground level, and we're looking particularly within countries. So it's a hugely contested area. Politics, we start with the course called Why Politics Matters, which is the question, what is politics? What should we be studying? What matters in society? As Helen said, it's very interdisciplinary. We look at history. We tend to look at individual countries. I specialize in the United States. We also teach Russia. We teach British politics, obviously. So it's a way of getting at the notion of how power is distributed in society. And so again, we look at not just governments. We look at how opinion is designed below that, looking at social movements, political sociology, how people come to the views that they have.
Brilliant. And just staying with you for a second, John, obviously at the moment there is obviously so much going on in sort of a politics and international relations arena. Are those sort of real life examples brought into the course and sort of used, as discussion points throughout the course, so it's really sort of relatable for students?
Absolutely. I mean, this is, for American politics, this has been the most perfect semester of my career. It's Trump studies. Begin looking at American government. We'll look at the structure of American government. We'll talk about Trump in terms of how the system works. And essentially, this is allowing students to read current events and have a really deep understanding of what's going on. And again, I think Helen would probably say the same for Brexit.
Oh, absolutely. If I can chip in, I mean,
absolutely.
World politics in recent years especially have been changing so fast that there's always sort of new things to look at and new ways of looking at old things.
Yeah.
So we will always bring contemporary and evolving events into the subject area and invite discussion upon them, and it's always interesting to do so.
Yeah, I'm sure you get so many different points of view and different opinions, which proves quite interesting debate. And Helen, just staying with you for a second, obviously discussing key areas and debating is a key skill at undergraduate level. What are the other sort of teaching methods that are used in the programme?
So we do always encourage a lot of debate, and we do encourage and hopefully empower students to be able to express their views in reasoned and evidenced ways, and to listen to and understand the views of other people. So that is probably one of the sort of the key skills. But we teach in a variety of ways. I think we use lecture formats where lecturers will give information and discuss particular topic areas. And then in tutorials, we encourage discussion, but I imagine that we do so in different ways, either through asking students to address particular debates, to look at sort of questions which are sub questions of bigger topics. Sometimes to give individual presentations with support, sometimes to do group presentations, or to work on particular topics and projects. So I think there is a good range of teaching methods that we have.
Yeah, brilliant. And just staying with you a second, Helen, how are then students assessed on the course? So obviously students who are just applying might find the thought of university quite daunting. So perhaps just a bit of information on how they're assessed throughout the programmes.
So again, we do have a range of different assessments. So students shouldn't come into the degree thinking that they're going to be constantly examined, because it's not the case. I think it's very different from school.
Yeah.
So we do ask students to write essays, but we also have kind of more targeted assessments, like writing a literature review, or doing a kind of a critique of a particular topic. And then as you go through the degree, I think students will find, sometimes there are assessed presentations, either group or individual presentations. Sometimes, I don't know, designing websites or making podcasts, or sometimes even, I've got an option of a creative writing assessment on my third year course. So there are, I hope, a variety of different ways in which students will be assessed throughout the degree.
A variety of ways that obviously should sort of suit a range of different students and sort of how they learn best and are assessed best to sort of help them to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. We're very attentive to the fact that students have different ways of learning, and we hope to accommodate that as best we can.
Brilliant. Thanks, Helen. Thanks. And John, if I could come over to you. Obviously, the areas of politics and international relations are so broad. What opportunities are there for students to sort of tailor their degree a little bit more towards their sort of specialities?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really important question. If you're looking at a politics degree, there's absolutely no way of knowing what it is for university to university, because we do so many different things and we have expertise in different areas. If you want to look at this, you really need to look at the modules that any particular program offers. And so that will give you a sense of what we'll teach, what your options are. At Keele, we have a real ethos of student choice. We have a really strong elective system, so you can take courses outside of politics throughout your entire degree, all the way through the third year. So if you wanted to bring in history, if you wanted to bring in sociology, or things that really help you, economics, you can do that. On top of that, we then have a huge amount of choice within politics. In the first year, you have to do 2 core courses, Why Politics Matters and Modern Democracies. But after that, we're perfectly happy for you to select the modules that fit with what you want to do. And you can select that and pretty much construct your own degree as you go through all 3 years.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, John. Thanks. And Helen, obviously, students might want to structure their degree around their career aspirations and what they're really hoping to achieve post-degree level. Are you able to give us a bit of an idea on the kind of careers that students go on to pursue and the kind of areas that our students have gone into?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, obviously students studying international relations and politics often do have an interest in working in related fields, and I think we often have had students who have gone on to work in sort of in political areas, in research. I mean, it's not just sort of think tanks and so forth that demand research skills. It's also lots of businesses look for those kind of evaluating evidence and writing it up kind of skills and presenting it sensibly that students will get doing our degrees. So, sometimes students have gone on to use the things that they've learned in if they want to work in sort of particular policy areas, particular kind of advocacy areas in charity sector, or even sometimes going into teaching or journalism or kinds of marketing, PR careers that students sometimes go on to do. So I think students do go on to do a wide range of things after graduation. It's not a degree that narrows your choice, but it is a degree program that will enable you to work in related fields if that is, what you want to do subsequently.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Helen. Thanks. And John, there might be some students watching this who have never taken politics or international relations or any sort of related qualification beforehand. Is that a barrier? How can they prepare if they haven't?
No, I mean, there's no barrier. We have no particular A-level requirements. We are a very multidisciplinary field, and so whatever you do is going to be helpful to what we want. Again, we just want students who are interested in the subject. In universities, it's really important you like what you're doing because you're going to do it for 3 years, and so that's much more important. We're going to have your A-level grades. We know you've got the academic skills to do this. That's not a problem. The problem is you need to get embedded into a topic you really like and learn how to analyze it and build up your skills over 3 years. And that's really what we want. I mean, if when I read your personal statements, I'm looking for some notion of what is it you like about politics, why you're interested in it, what sparked that interest, and what kinds of things would you like to pursue? Because again, students can choose how they pursue their degree here. They can choose the modules they specialize in, and they can do completely different things. They're sitting alongside each other in the same program, have completely different degrees at the end of it because they can select those modules as they go through. So that's what I want is an interest in the subject.
Brilliant. And Helen, how would you say a student could best prepare for an international relations or politics course? Is there anything in particular they should be reading or getting themselves involved in at all?
Well, I completely agree with what John has just said. So the best things that students could do is read the news, watch the news. I mean, there is so much documentaries, films that are actually about themes in politics and international relations. There's almost a sort of an embarrassment of riches of things that you could be doing, just following your general interest in the subject area through media, so that you can come to university with your interest really sparked. And I think that's what you need to do well as you go through the degrees. That real desire to study the subject area and to find out more.
If I could jump in there, this is the question we get from students all the time. When we have offer holders, I get so many emails in the summer saying, how should I prepare? What should I do? And again, we're perfectly happy to give you reading lists. Again, I don't give anyone a specific reading list. I'll ask, well, what are you interested in? What kinds of things do you want to do? And we've got this huge set of it's just a list from lecturers on what we like to read. And just some suggestions. But as Helen said, newspapers are the absolute starting point for most of that. You can find so many different subjects. It's so well covered. And with the internet, you get access to any country in the world.
Yeah, that's great. And at the moment, we are absolutely surrounded, aren't we, by news that is relevant to these areas. Helen, how does the school and how are sort of students supported on the programme, perhaps both from an academic and a non-academic point of view? How do we make sure that we support students on the courses?
So I think that, again, we have a variety of means of doing that. So students, on every module that students take, there will be a module coordinator who will probably be giving most of the lectures. In some of the modules, the module coordinator is also taking all of the tutorials. On my first year module, that's certainly the case at the moment. Some modules will have more than one tutorial leader, but students will always have access to both the module coordinator and the tutorial leader to discuss matters outside of the timetabled hours, should they need to. So we answer emails, we talk to students outside of the hours. Students also have a personal tutor who stays with them throughout the 3 years at university. So students can make use of the personal tutor to discuss academic matters with them. And over the course of the 3 years, we do actually get to know our tutees and the students who come to see us pretty well, actually. I think it's one of the advantages of Keele University. We do actually get to know the students over the course of the 3 years.
Yeah, but I'm sure a lot of students will probably find that quite reassuring, actually. So thanks for that, Helen. And John, obviously at Keele, we offer sort of study abroad programmes, international years, learning a language. Are you able to give us a bit of an overview of how those opportunities work, how they're embedded into the course?
Yeah, and again, you're right. This is something you should look for in any degree you're looking at any university. And Keele is absolutely perfectly positioned to do this sort of thing because we have electives. You could do a language as one of your electives. So yeah, you can study French all the way through your subject. If you wanted to get a job in the civil service, having a foreign language is really helpful. And if you want to study abroad, there are two options. You can study abroad for a semester in your second year, and that means you graduate on time. You just do your normal 3-year degree, and you spend half of a year roughly in a foreign country. Or you could do a full year abroad, and this allows you to a little bit more flexibility. So you can go to more places. You could take pretty much whatever you want because again, it's an extra year on top of your degree. I mean, it does cost a bit for that, but Keele heavily discounts the tuition fees for that. But it does add a year, and it gives you a deeper experience. It lets you get it absolutely embedded into a culture if you want to. So you can go on the Keele website and you can see every country we go to. I supervise quite a few in the United States, and so that's a really popular place to go. And if you want to learn about a foreign country, this is the way to do it. You will not be a tourist. You'll be living with native students. You'll be taking classes with them. You will learn so much more than you'll ever do just visiting somewhere as a traveler.
Yeah, absolutely. And I imagine for these kind of programs, the Study Abroad International Year is an absolutely amazing way to further understand and further embed yourself into the kind of program. Helen, would you agree there? I can see you.
It's a fantastic opportunity. I wish I could do it.
Yeah, agreed. Helen, some students might feel that they're not quite ready for a full degree programme, or might be looking, they might have had a gap in their education. Do we offer a foundation year for these programmes, and how does that work?
There is a foundation year that students can do, and I think then students can either come into the first year, or sometimes there's an option of coming directly into the second year on completion of the foundation year. John can correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that's what's happened in the past. So we do have students coming through the foundation year. We do also have students joining the degree who have had a few years out, and I think sometimes that they can be a bit nervous when they start, but often it can actually be helpful to have had that space, because I think then students come back and they know that they really want to study. And so if you've got the will and the interest to do it, you should definitely do it, because we can help to ease that transition. And students shouldn't feel shy because it's been 2 or 3 years since they've written an essay. Practically all of the students that we had coming in this year had the experience of having school stopped for them in March. So, we can accommodate these things, and we're accustomed to accommodating these things. And a diverse student body is often actually a really good student body to have different experiences brought into the classroom.
Yeah, and I think it's really confusing as well. If you're not sure what you should be going into, if you're not sure if you're ready for the first year, and you think you might want to look at a foundation year, it's really good to contact us, because we're very experienced at dealing with students with different backgrounds, and we can give you some sense of where you sit and which option might be best for you. So do contact us to ask about questions like that.
Yeah, and I imagine if students have had a gap in their education, or they've been and worked for a few years and then want to return, actually they've got a huge amount to offer through their life experiences and sort of the different people that they've come into contact with, the skills that they've already developed. So it's absolutely not a barrier at all, is it, John?
No. I mean, those are some of our best students. So the ones who've been out, as Helen said, if you go out and you've worked for a while, you gather some of these soft skills, you have a lot more confidence, and this is the subject you want to do. And so, yeah, those are some of the most dedicated students we have.
Yeah, brilliant. And John, if I could just stay with you for a second. Keele once was very well known for its breadth of combined honours programmes. Do you think there's a particular benefit of doing a combined honours? Because obviously with politics and international relations, there are options to do single or combined honours. Do you think there are any benefits to doing a combined honours within these disciplines?
Yeah, I mean, it's great. It's essentially it's splitting it half and half. And what you want is if it's two subjects you really love, then that's a great way of combining them. And again, we don't have as many options as we used to, because we've tried to make sure that we fit these subjects together really well. So with politics, you can do, international relations is the most common combination, but you can do history, you can do economics. These are subjects that work together really, really well, and we try to dovetail those degrees in that way. So yeah, if you're interested in two subjects and you can't decide between them, then dual honors or combined honors is a great way to go. The best thing about this is once you've tried that in your first year, you can always switch to one or the other. Because Keele has all this flexibility, if students try two things and then they figure out one subject wasn't for them, that's fine. It's not a problem. You don't have to start again. You can just switch it to that other subject. So yeah, don't worry. Just because you sign up for two subjects doesn't commit you to that for all 3 years. We're very happy to adjust as your interests change.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. So we're coming to the end of it now. So I'm going to try and not put you both on the spot, but I'm going to ask you something about your experience of Keele. So Helen, if I come to you first, what would you say is your favourite thing about Keele University? It doesn't have to be limited to the programme, just Keele itself as an institution. What would you say is your favourite thing about Keele?
It sounds a bit silly, but it's really nice. It's a really nice place. Yeah. And we actually do get to know the students, and that actually is a nice feature of teaching here. So it's it's comparatively speaking, it's a relatively small university on a very nice campus, and that does give these kind of these benefits of kind of, there's a collaborative atmosphere, and that means that it's genuinely a nice environment to teach in.
Yeah, brilliant. And what about you, John? What's your favorite?
Yeah, it's like family here. I mean, families fight with each other as well. We have huge, vigorous debates, but again, this is a community. When I came here, oh gosh, in 1996, I thought it was going to be 2 years here and then I'm back off to the United States. And I just love teaching here. I know all my students by name. I don't teach hundreds and hundreds of students. I get to know them. I get to know their interests. I get to watch them develop over 3 years. And that's just so much fun as a teacher. And again, I think those connections are the things you want to look for. The small group teaching, the students being able to choose what they want to do. All the students who take my class want to take the class. I'm not forcing you to do American politics. And that's just a joy as a teacher. And that's what makes it so much fun. That's what's kept me here for my entire career.
Yeah. I imagine it's hugely rewarding to see students develop so much and see their ideas change and them then to go on to progress into their careers. Brilliant. Well, thank you both so much. That concludes this session. So thank you very much for joining us, and also thank you to our panel for their insights into the School of Social, Political and Global Studies. If you have any questions at all or would like to learn more, then you can chat to our staff and students directly on our website via our UniBuddy platform. But thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you at Keele in the future. Thank you.